Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Congdon, and I work as a certified recovery advisor for Aware Recovery Care in Madison. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about the life of a child, a man in a red hat, and a secret ability we all possess. When I was a child, I wanted to be a superhero. I wanted to change the world and make everyone happy. But as I got older, I realized that a cape and my imagination was not going to be enough to save the world. I used my imagination to escape from reality, a reality of addiction, an eating disorder, depression, ADHD, divorce, and abuse. Living in a world where emptiness is all you know, my dreams began to feel smaller and smaller. I became hopeless and cold-hearted, and I'd wander about my day as if I didn't even exist to the world. But we all have those moments, right? When you're deep in a trance, going about your day, thinking about what to cook for dinner, when you're going to pick up the kids, and then suddenly, out of the blue, a stranger will come up to you and tell you their life story. People come and spill out random things about their lives, and most of the time, we take these interactions for granted. Before I tell you about a man who impacted my life, I'll paint you a picture. I was 15 at the time and would sneak out of the house at night to walk the streets. I loved how the streetlights felt like fireflies guiding me into the unknown, and how the night air was crisp against my skin. It made me feel alive. Sometimes I'd walk 2 or 3 towns over until the sun came up. Then I'd take the bus back to town to get home in time for school. One time that I approached the bus stop, there was a strange man sitting on the bench. He was wearing a red knit hat, work boots, and holding a thermos. I hesitated to walk over, but I was so exhausted from walking all night that I decided to take my chances. So I pulled up my hood, walked over to the bench, and we sat under the streetlight in silence. Deep in the distance, I could see the bus headlights approaching us, and the man turned to look at me. I waited for him to ask where I was going so early or where my parents were, but instead he said, "Sometimes we have to get lost to find ourselves." I nodded, and I didn't say a word, and we got on the bus in silence. I went about my day as normal, and when night came, I lay there questioning this strange man. Where was he going? Was he lost? What did he mean? Anxious to feed my curiosity, I walked straight to the bus stop and waited, but I never saw this man again. I waited every night for weeks, but I never saw him. As I walked at night, I began to question, where am I in all this darkness? When will I ever see the light? As a young adult in recovery, I thought going to rehab and then therapy and going to 12-step programs were my only options towards wellness. Until I found joy and regained a sense of purpose through yoga, art therapy, and young adult groups. As a certified recovery advisor, I'm able to reach into others' lives and help them ignite a light in the darkness. As family, friends, and even strangers, we all hold that superpower. Aware Recovery Care is a light of empowerment, wellness, and helps others guide out of the darkness to a prosperous future. The 52-week in-home program utilizes life experience of addiction psychiatrist, a registered nurse, a licensed clinician, and a certified recovery advisor, all to assess and develop a unique person-centered treatment plan. I never imagined that I would be standing here today speaking about my life experience and working for a recovery agency that educates and heals people in their home. Mental illness and addiction are changing, and I'm proud to be a part of that change. Since that night at the bus stop, I truly believe that people come and go into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. There are good and bad moments that define our lives, but they don't define who we are as a person. Looking back at that troubled child I once was, I wouldn't change a thing, because sometimes we have to get lost to find ourselves.